Mayne back here with another market update. I know I promised to do one of these a week. I've been trying. I've been a little busy. I know I was on a Twitter hiatus during my last one, so I apologize. It's been about 20 days or so. I believe my last video was, I don't need to guess, it's right here, February 25th. But the good news is price is basically doing exactly what I thought it was going to do in the last video. If you don't follow me already on Twitter, definitely do that. I'm posting trades there in advance, analysis, pretty much on there every day. I'm pretty active. You can always DM me on Discord, like I've said before, Mayne, #7962. Also follow me on Tradingview. Tradingview is not something I post a ton on. I haven't in the past, so I'm going to start. So I've made 2 public trade posts in the last. This was right after my last video. This one's obviously aging pretty well so far. So, you know, coming in, I've actually started filling this trade already. This entry was kind of arbitrary, and I talked about this on Twitter as well, but I also talked about this setup in this video here. So you can see I'm already talking about that here. But basically in this last video, I was talking about shorting. I was in that 10-150 short. I took another really nice short just above 9K, rode it all the way down to like 8K. Posted that advance on Twitter as well. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to cover Bitcoin and Ethereum and kind of what my thoughts are, these 2 swing/position trade ideas I have, as well as I'll break down what's happened since my last video till now. So hopefully you can see my thought process and how I was able to predict, and predict might not even be the right word, but how I was able to position myself for what I thought was going to happen. At the end of the day, no one knows what is going to happen in the market. It's using things like technical analysis, sentiment analysis, whatever other tools you want to use, indicators, whatever, to make educated guesses really about where you think the market is going and why. For me, I use price action, so I use predetermined levels where I'm going to be looking for trades at, and then I use market structure to determine direction, and then I enter. But I use a little bit of sentiment analysis as well, and that's something I consider myself to be quite good at. I use Twitter, and I think I use Twitter very well. I'm very good at fading the crowd. And I promise I'm not going to go on some big Twitter rant last time. I had someone complain that I ranted and complained about Twitter for 8 minutes. That's out of my system now. I don't really care. The proof is in the pudding. I've been crushing it this entire year so far. My strike rate has been ridiculous, and I'm really happy with how my trading has turned out, and I've done it all live on YouTube and Twitter for you guys, from longing the 6K bottom and hedging the 10.4K top, and taking longs along the way and shorts along the way and calling levels all the entire way. So fuck what Twitter has to say. The proof's in the pudding. Those that know what's up, right? So let's talk about kind of what my thought process has been over the last couple of weeks, the trades I entered and why. I think seeing it in foresight. So if you're wondering what I mean, go watch this video. Again, I understand it's 40 minutes long. I'm going to make this one shorter, hopefully. But skip the first 8 minutes. I guess I was a little bitchy and ranty. But that's part of my charm. So skip the first 8 minutes if you want. But then I talk about exactly what I think is going to happen, which was ETH shitting the bed and Bitcoin shitting the bed. And then combine that with what I'm going to discuss in this video, and you can see me calling it in real time, and hopefully that helps cement it in your mind, because seeing something in hindsight, personally, people hate hindsight, but hindsight is a great way to learn. But even better way is to see it called in advance, then it happens, and then reviewing it and my thought process along the way. At least that's what I think. That's one way that I learned really well is I'll try and make a prediction, I'll see what happens, and then I'll try and reverse engineer it. That's what I did, especially in my early days with traders that I followed. I would say, okay, how did they get to this answer? Work backwards. So let's do that. So last video was February 25th, right? So if we're on the daily chart, February 25th was right here. Okay, so I had posted a short at 10:150 on Twitter, and then this dump had started. And then basically, once we closed below this level, I said it very clearly. The next place we're going is here. And then the next place we're going is here. And I talked about it in this video. I also talked about it in my Discord, and I talked about it on Twitter. So right before my last video, I went into my kind of Twitter hiatus. I took a couple weeks off. I talked about, I think 8,700 is next. This was February 19th. Okay, so this is here. Okay, and what I talked about is a lot of people who shorted this entire move successfully shorted this entire move unsuccessfully. And a lot of the people that I watch for counters were shorting this entire way up and getting blown the fuck out, fighting the trend. And then a lot of people, I talked about this in my last video and on Twitter, especially in my last video, everyone was getting bullish when we were above 9,500, when we were at 10K. Everyone was getting bullish, being like 11K, 12K next. And I was like, you know what? I think the sentiment is shifting here. I think it might be time to potentially start looking bearish. We were coming into that weekly order block that I had mentioned. I said all these people shorting here, fighting the trend. This was the first area that, okay, the market could actually turn around. That's exactly what had happened here. People were getting bullish right into high time frame resistance, right? There on the weekly. And what do you have here on the daily? Here's your swing low. Okay, well, there's a break in market structure. There's a lower high, right? Here's another break in market structure. So the market structure actually was in line with the sentiment, right? So if you look here, right, there's a break in market structure. There's a lower high. There's another low high. There's another break in market structure. You're bearish now. This is a downtrend on the H4, starting to look like a downtrend on the daily, which soon became a downtrend on the weekly, or on the 3-day, and then the weekly. Market structure shifts on the low time frame first. High time frame, we're coming into that weekly level. Low time frame, market structure starts shifting, confirming our bias, right? So I talked about this very early on, over a month ago, and I could go even further back. I was talking about these levels. I've had these levels on my chart since the end of January. If you go back to the end of January, I have posts talking about price coming back to like here's February 12th, right? Hedged most of my Bitcoin, 9.5, 8.7, 7.6. That's every level we bounced at, right? So I've been talking about this shit for a while, but what I'm trying to show you is, follow the progression here of what I'm what I was kind of trying to say, and why. And I'm going to show you why I thought all these things were happening. So I've had the same plan for a while now, okay? And I talked about it in my last couple YouTube videos. Feb 17th I did one. I did another one on Feb 25th that I've been talking about. So I've been talking, this is why I took my Twitter hiatus. I said 8,700 is next. I'll look to long there. If we lose that, we're going sub 8K, and I'll look to long around 7,700. Here's what I mean by sentiment analysis. Look at the engagement first of all, and look at some of the responses, okay? In your dreams. So smart, please teach. Whole halving pump ended. Laugh my ass off. Could be recovered by the morning. Thinking is the worst strategy, right? So people are just talking shit, right? People are just talking shit. And that to me is a good sign. This guy's just a retard. Pardon my French. This guy's got learning disabilities. Okay, I'm not sure what this guy's fucking saying. So anyways, I mean, people were talking shit, and that's a good sign for me, right? I want people to be disagreeing with me. If everyone thinks it's the same thing, you're with the crowd. And I know people say, oh, everyone, I hate when people say everyone on CT, everyone. It's a figure of speech. I'm not saying every single person on CT is disagreeing with me. I'm just saying the people that I watch are bullish here, bearish here. That's just what I fucking think. It's how I talk. I don't really care if it's not, something that, is quite accurate in terms of saying everyone is this, everyone is that. I've had a few people talk shit to me. I mean, Cred's done it jokingly, but at the end of the day, what I mean is there's people I watch on Twitter, and when they're doing something, I'm counter trading and fading that sentiment. And again, people telling me 7,700 would be uber bearish and impossible. We move 60% off the low straight up. We do these pullbacks all time, right? Price was at 9,600 here, and we had even one more spike towards 10K after this, right? No one thinks that it's ever going to come this low. That's typical Bitcoin. I talk about this in my last video as well. I talk about how Bitcoin loves to do these deep pullbacks, right? And people always say, oh no, it's never going to do that, right? And then they start bidding, right? They start bidding early, and then it comes and it pulls back deeper, right? And I talk about this all the time. It loves to do these deep fucking pullbacks. Why would this time be any different, right? So again, I talked about, this level getting weaker, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, we go on, right? So taking my break here, did a quick video for you guys, had to come in and troll some people who were talking shit because I'm petty like that. So then again, we got into those levels that I had teched. I think there was a long around 8,700, 85 to 8,700. I thought there'd be a good long, right? Why did I think there'd be a good long? Perfect time here for me to explain where these levels come from. What is this level here? Okay, this level is this previous high, weekly high. Okay, key price action level. Okay, next level is this 3-day order block here, basically right in the middle. That's why I thought there would be a bounce here. And if you take the bottom of it, right, to the top of it, right? So, I mean, this is technically the order block, this candle here. So there's that 84.30 to 87.27. Okay, so that's where I got this bounce area. And I didn't end up longing this, but I ended up shorting this. And I posted that one. We'll get there in a second. But reaction, but to me, right, just looking at the chart here, I'm not longing this towards a new high, right? What do I see here? We just broke a major swing low, right? So whatever the bounce is from here, where's the sell? It's right here, right? Perfect retest. Bearish market structure, right? Break a swing low, perfect retest, a bottom becomes a top, right? Sells off again. I'll show you exactly what triggered my trade in a bit. But again, so I'm not longing this to new highs. I'm saying, okay, wherever this bounce goes is going to be a short, right? But you could have taken a long there. I didn't end up taking one. Had a little bit of snowboarding. This was an epic fucking powder day. March 1st, right? Sentiment analysis. March 1st, literally right here. I came back on Twitter after like a week off, and everyone on my feed was calling for this level, which I still thought we were going to. But what usually happens when everyone, and here comes the term everyone, I'm just saying people I were following that I follow for sentiment analysis, all of them were uber bearish here. And we got a nice little pump. We pumped like 10% maybe. What's going on here? Why can't I? Oh my God. What is this? Little 8-9% pump there, right? March 1st. So that's what I mean by sentiment analysis. There's accounts on Twitter. Go look on March 1st and go look what those accounts, you know the accounts I'm talking about. I don't need to give you the names. Go look at what those accounts were saying here, right? It's almost too easy. You almost don't need the chart. Okay? Literally right at the bottom. The Peter Brandts of the world, right? He's one of those accounts. Okay, so I ended up trying to take a long here. looks like I was greedy with my bids on the sidelines for now. Looked to short a bounce and long lower, right? So I actually was trying to get a long. I was actually trying to get a long here on March 2nd, thinking we were going to get a little bit of relief, right? So here was my setup idea basically. It was based on this key high time frame level, okay? And I wanted to long a retest of this order block here, right? And I said basically I thought we were going to get some sort of bounce. 9,200 was my target. I said if we can get to 95, I don't know if we'll get that high. Basically, I think shorting wherever this bounce goes is a high probability move. I still think we test sub 8K. Cred is like, oh, this guy just said showing the absolutely roast me, that fucker. He always gets me, that son of a bitch. But this is what I thought the move was, right? So I was like, you know what? I think we're going to get a little bit of relief here, but you want to short it. So basically my target was going to be back into these lows, right? 9,200. Back into these lows. I just missed my entry by like $40. So I didn't end up catching that trade. But that's okay. You miss trades. It happens. But then, this was my plan the entire time, right? Is to, get short on some sort of bounce from here down to the next level. And again, people were like, oh, everyone, that this whole terminology of everyone, like whatever. This is kind of what has been my plan for a while. So, I have no problem sticking to my guns with, how I say it. This was the plan. Magic Poop Cannon. This is another account that's a fade. Unfortunately, his tweet got a little too much interaction because he blocked me and he deleted the tweet. But he basically said it looks like a good time to buy Bitcoin, like right fucking here. Unbelievable, really. I even posted it in this thing. Right? Like literally the top. So, pretty funny shit, right? Like my trades get 200 likes. Stop entry target. My memes get 1,000. Anyways, so my plan has been clear. If you guys have been watching my videos, if you guys have been watching me on Twitter, I've been posting this shit all in advance. I've been talking about this shit for a while, these levels for a while, and now we're here. So now it's time to pay attention. So what I'll explain next is why I entered my short here, because I think it could be valuable to some of you guys. And then I'll talk about these two position trades that I'm in. And then we'll cover ETH. And then we'll be done, because I don't want this video to be fucking too long or anything like that. But hopefully combine my last video with what I'm talking about in this video, what I've been posting on Twitter for the last 3-4 weeks. Hopefully you can see why I thought what was going to happen is happening. Okay, so my last trade that I took was actually based on a key monthly level. So I'm just going to delete this for a second. And there's someone, a homie of mine pointed out to me a tweet. Some guy. Oh, and thank you for 60,000 out here, guys. Like, holy smokes. Much appreciated. I also want to give a shout out to the homie Winner something, who's been following me for 6 months, he says, and he wanted a shout out. I prefer trading high time frame because I can enter modern trades with minimal chart time. That said, if you like trading low time frame, still focus on high time frame lows to do work at. If you think the monthly chart is useless because crypto moves fast, you're an idiot. And this guy tried to talk shit to me because he made a post saying crypto moves too fast to use the monthly chart. That's one of the most asinine things I've ever heard. The high time frame always fucking matters. Yes, crypto moves quickly, but it does not mean that the monthly chart is irrelevant. For fuck's sakes, the top of this year, the top of this year, right, was a monthly fucking level. You telling me the monthly chart is not relevant? What is the top of 2019? Last year, sorry. 13, what is this? 13,920? 13,873. Like the top was this monthly fucking level. And then you zoom in. Right? Like you telling me that the monthly chart is not relevant? Come into a key level. So I think it's just asinine to say that, and it just shows me that you don't know anything about fucking trading if you think the monthly chart isn't relevant because crypto moves too fast. It's just dumb. Um, the monthly chart is still relevant. Sure, maybe you're not going to enter your trade on the monthly. Sure, like that's absolutely fine. I get it. It could take forever to play out. I will tell you that guys like Angelo, these guys like Loops, these guys who are fucking OGs and have been forever in crypto, they're not fucking looking at the 5 minute chart. They're using the monthly and maybe the weekly chart, and they're entering position trades that they enter with extremely wide stops and then don't touch forever. Angelo entered a trade at 4K with a stop at 0, right? Based on like the monthly chart. So telling me it's not relevant, right? Telling me that the bottom here didn't form. I did an entire thread and I covered it in previous YouTube videos about why I thought this was at least the temporary bottom before this leg. Started with the monthly, right? And again, this last trade that I just nailed based on a monthly level. And the monthly level was this one here. So this is what we call a FTA. And what I mean by that is when we came below here in price and then we started turning, this area is the first trouble area. You could call it an order block. FTA is a term a lot of people use in supply and demand trading. Basically, it's the first resistance on the monthly. So the up candle before this down move, you could call it a breaker, I guess. Price is coming into that. I want to see how price reacts to that. Now, for me, if I'm just going purely on the technicals, ideally, I want to see a monthly close back above 8,300 to get bullish. If we close below, I think that's bearish, and it definitely looks like we're going to close below, but I could be wrong. There's still 21 days left in the month. Is there 31 days in March? I don't know. Yeah, I think so, because there's 30 in April. But we closed through it on this candle, which I think is bullish. I don't love this follow-up close, but if we can close back in here at the end of March, right, and this becomes a long lower wick, I think that's really bullish for this potentially being a higher low for a move up. We'll see. We could come way down and then come up, right, and I'll talk about that in a sec, but basically this is the FTA. And so what I did is based on this FTA, monthly level, one thing people suck at with order blocks is picking them. So tell me this monthly level is not relevant. I just marked that monthly level and look at how well price respects it on the lower time frame, right? Resistance, support, 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 right? SR here, support, breaks through, resistance, a bounce, right? Perfect top here, right? So of course it's relevant. And what you can do is find the levels on the high time frame and then execute your low time frame trades near those significant high time frame levels because they're bound to give you a reaction, right? So for me, I like trading high time frame because if I'm chilling during the day, there's only 3 or 4 4-hour candles, that I need to pay attention to. I mean, realistically, I'm not staring at the chart for 16 hours. I can check the chart twice in 8 hours and only 2 4-hour candles have occurred. Whereas if you're trading on the 5-minute, right, you got to be, staring at it. And I just don't like that. And it just doesn't work for me. It's not the type of trader that I am. But price is fractal. So your high time frame can be the 4-hour, and then you can execute on the 5-minute. My high time frame can be the monthly, and then I can execute on the daily. Works the exact same. But the bottom line is, the point I was trying to get at is order blocks, you can't just pick any candle and be like, this is an order block, right? Order blocks occur near key high time frame levels. So when I knew I had this key monthly level, right? So I mean, the key for marking your charts, go back to my early YouTube videos. I do a video on top-down analysis, is first marking key levels and then waiting for price to approach those levels and then looking for setups, order blocks, near those key levels. There's no point in me marking a key level at 13,000 when we're trading at 9,000, right? So when I see people who have 100 fucking lines on their charts and order blocks all over and it looks like a fucking rainbow because they're all different colors, I'm like, okay, well, are any of those relevant? Price is not close to there, right? So for me, to have these clean charts, focus on where price is close to and then build your trade idea around that. So once we had this key monthly level here at 91453 and we were moving up to it, I'm thinking we're in a downtrend. So what do? I zoomed in and I said, okay, I like this order block here. This is the up candle, right? That led to this down move, okay? Is this a key level? I can already tell yes, right? Because we had a reaction here. We had a reaction here. We had a reaction here. We broke it. What is an order block at the end of the day? It's support and resistance, right? So if it's support and then we lose it and we retest, I can expect that it might potentially be resistance. It might not. Some people will say, Mayne, how do you know that it's going to reject there? I don't. No one knows. Like I said at the very start of the video, it's educated guesses based on confluent factors, TA, sentiment, blah, blah, blah. No one knows for sure. So when you see people speak in absolutes, you can already tell that that person has shit fuck all of an idea of what it means to actually trade. Because if you speak in absolutes, price has to do this. It's never going to do that. It's for sure going to do this. Right? That kind of language, this person's already lost the game because you don't actually fucking know. The market can be irrational. So many things can happen that you don't know for sure. There's no way to know for sure, right? So anytime I see those people, oh, price is never going to go back to 7.7K, wrong. Price is never going back below 10K, wrong, right? So I don't know that it's going to reject here, but based on statistics, which is meaning I've done this hundreds and thousands of times in the charts, I'm willing to make an educated guess that price does reject here based on us being bearish market structure, key monthly level, and a key order block near that monthly level that I'm willing to take a trade there. So that's the first level I picked, was this one here. And then the second one I picked was this, right? So this is another order block near a key monthly level, and this is the two levels that I queued my trade off of, right? And the whole idea was basically, I think we're going down further. I showed you all these tweets. I don't need to go back to them, but I thought we were going down further. I'll punt closer to 9.5 if this gets stopped, but if this works out, Omega long, mid to low sevens in a halving. So there's those two levels. I didn't include the monthly level on here just to keep it clean. But basically, entry, I like to put my entries just above the block because sometimes you don't always get the fill. Like that 6-hour setup I was showing you earlier, I didn't quite get the fill, right? So sometimes if you're being too cheeky, you won't get the fill. And I like to put my stop usually above. I've been stopped out so many times having my stop right at the edge of the block. I just don't do it anymore. I'll give up a little bit of RR. There's still a 4 to 1 here, and then my target was here. I ended up even closing lower, right, because it went lower, but that was the trade, right? And I mean, I posted it here. I had a lot of people disagree with me. Again, perfect sentiment analysis is tons of people Don Alt was on my side, which is great, but what happened, right, is a lot. So I'll show you in real time, right? A lot of people agreed when I posted the trade, okay? A lot of people agreed when I posted the trade here, right? But then we made this leg up. Everyone started getting bullish, right? And really, we were just rinsing these fucking people out, right? Rinsing all these people who are shorting here. And then, there's your SFP up there. If you go on the RSI, I guarantee you there's a divergence here. I guarantee you on the RSI, in this right area here, there's a downtrend on the RSI. I don't use RSI, PSI. There you go. There's a RSI, there's a divergence. That's a bearish divergence on the RSI. Not something I use, but can be useful at bottoms and tops occasionally, right? Like you could look... you can look here, right? That's a lower low. That's a higher low, right? That's a divergence. Anyways. So again, people agreed with me here, but then this happened, right? Next 2 days, price went up. Everyone got bullish right into resistance, and then it dumped. Very happy with that trade. Hopefully some of you guys took it with me. But yeah, for that guy who said monthly levels don't matter, you are dazed, homie. So let's talk about where we are now. We're now retesting this previous range high. And if you can remember, we had this huge 45-day accumulation. When we broke out of this range, we had a huge move up. There's a good chance that this is distribution here, right? You can treat these three levels that I drew as just their own range. Here's a deviation, here's a deviation. What are we going to do now is the question. My belief is that we consolidate here and then hopefully go up. I don't really want to see us come below this low. So that's the logic for this trade here, is I don't think we come below this low. This is a position swing trade that I'm taking here. So I don't think it's going to be a B bottom, right? If this is accumulation, right, I think, and this is distribution, and we're going to continue going up, we need to reaccumulate, and that's going to take some time. It could take a month, it could take a couple weeks, could take 10 days. But I'm going to be watching the next few weeks very intently to see where price does around here. Again, ideally, I would like to see the month of March close above 8,300. That would be super bullish in my opinion. If we can dip below here, regain this level, I think that looks good. This is a position trade. This is a long-term trade, so I'm starting to fill bids. Even though we haven't come to 7,600, I started filling bids as soon as we started trading below 7,700. Right, we're in that deep pullback region, right? But this pullback could go all the way here. I would be willing to add to my bids all the way down to the yearly open, which is right here, 71.63. I would add all the way here, stop here, right? And this is a position swing trade. It's going to take a while to play out, and there's a good chance I'm willing to average my entry down, and there's also a good chance that I'm going to sit underwater for a while, and that's okay. You have to realize here, let's assume that after I average all my bids in, my entry is 7,600, my average entry. So I get some bids at 74, blah, blah, blah. My stop would be 16% away from my entry. So what does that mean? Go read Crypto Cred's Medium article on risk management, right? That means you have to be careful with your position sizing. If you have a stop that's 200 bucks away of your entry and you're trading 100,000 contracts, if your stop is all of a sudden $1,300 away from your entry, you're not trading 100,000 contracts anymore, right? You're trading way less because your position size, leveraged is irrelevant. Your position size, the distance your entry to your stop is a part of that calculation, right? So I had someone post under my F tweet being like, "Oh, your stop is so far, you can get wrecked." It's like, no. Obviously this stop is insane, right? Like my entry is not going to be 183 only. I think F comes quite deep, so I think I'm going to have an average entry between like 150 to 160 is going to be where my entry ends up, but I'll start bidding earlier just in case. But again, right, my stop is going to be super far, so my position size is going to be calculated accordingly. I'm not going to be trading, $50,000 worth of ETH. I'm going to be trading a specific amount because also my target is a large distance away from my entry, right? So you have to be, when you're taking these huge swing trades and you're using leverage and your stop is far away from your entry in terms of percentage and in terms of a dollar amount, your position size has to be calculated accordingly. When I'm taking trades on the H4, generally I have just a set number of contracts that I'm using, because I kind of guesstimate. I'm like, this is about 2 to 4% of my account, just because it's off the H4. But when we're talking these longer trades, you get your calculator out, use the BitMEX calculator, and make sure that you're properly positioning yourself so you don't get fucking screwed because you can sit underwater and your stop is going to be far away. Anyways, so this is kind of my thoughts on Bitcoin, right? I'm willing to bid all the way back into the yearly open here. I think we're going to ideally see some action in the month of March. I think we see some consolidation here. I will bid lower if I have to. I would love to see us close above 8,300. We don't have to, but I would love to see that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is not the low, right? So if you're a Wyckoff guy, I'm not a Wyckoff trader, but what does the Wyckoff schematic look like, right? It's always the low, right? And then there's, a range high move, and then there's usually some sort of falling wedge kind of looking thing. Then there's the spring, which usually takes out this low, right? And then there's this is the ugliest Wyckoff schematic ever, right? But, go draw the Wyckoff schematic up, right? And you look here, and what do you have? It's basically exactly this, right? So you have the entry, there's your range high test, here's your falling wedge, there's your spring, right? And then there's your breakout. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a move below this low here. I'm expecting some choppy sideways price action, and I think before the end of March, we're going to have a really good idea of what's happening. And I think it's either going to be a vicious move down, right? And then, a strong recovery. So, some sort of consolidation, spring, right? And then recovery, and then uptrend continuation. That's what I'm betting on with these trades and all of my Twitter fucking clout. Or if we get no sort of reaction here and there's no support being found here, and, there is a lot of liquidity on the way down here, from people who were longing from, unfortunately, almost a full year ago, right? There's people who's, there's liquidity further down. So is this enough of a pullback? It's a deep pullback. I think things are much uglier if we lose this low. I think we're talking $5,000 Bitcoin. I don't really want to see that, but it is of course possible. So you got to be ready for any situation. I don't want to see that because I've been calling for this, but at the end of the day, I'll buy more down there. I have money that I can put into crypto, and absolutely, if we're getting sub 6K Bitcoin again, I want to buy it. But I do think there is a good reason to believe that this could be where the low forms, but we don't know. So play it level to level. But to me, risk is super defined, right? If we lose this low, this is not where the low is. Simple as that. So what I'm hoping is something like this. But let's wait and see, right? We got our halving happening in May. So a lot of factors to consider, but hopefully that's clear. I know this was a little rambly, but hopefully that's clear kind of what my thoughts are on Bitcoin. I think we're at or close to the bottom. We'll see some chop. I'm willing to bid down to the low 7,000s. For me, I'm wrong if we get below this low, and then I'll be looking lower, I guess. The one thing that we have to be aware of, and I don't like to think of Bitcoin as like a safe haven, or whatever, this risk off, risk on asset, shit like that, compared to what's going on in the stock market. I think people, if people think Bitcoin is a safe haven, they think it's a safe haven. Whatever they think is what they think, but is the majority going to think that? Is more important of a question. But the one thing that we don't know is that, what is Bitcoin going to do if we enter a recession? Is this coronavirus, stock market top? I personally think the stock market looked pretty cooked already, and coronavirus is just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, whatever you want. There's the show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. I don't know if we're starting a recession. If we are starting a recession, I think the stock market gets a lot uglier. If we're starting a recession, this is not it. So are we going to see this, right? Are we going to see a repeat of this, right? People thought this was the recession starting. This would mean, no, this is good for Bitcoin, obviously, because Bitcoin has only existed in a stock market bull run. Right? Bitcoin has only existed in a stock market bull run. So if we were to really enter a recession, a multi-year downturn in the economy, will that affect Bitcoin? I do not know. So I do think, there is a limit to, TA when there are, when there's systematic risk from the traditional markets, potentially entering a recession. I would like to think, because I'm just a macro bull on Bitcoin, that it won't matter, but I don't know. That being said, the best case scenario for the stock market is we just have one of these. And also, Trump's biggest running point, one of his strongest campaign points is the strength of the stock market. And if we're starting a recession going into, and we're now in an election year, 11/11, guys, make a wish. And we're in an election year, that is problematic for him because one of his running points is low unemployment, and strength of the stock market. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, on that note, I think it's going to be hilarious to see Trump debate either Bernie, who is a crazy socialist loonbag, or Biden, who is a fucking old dude who's clearly starting to show the signs of dementia. And I don't think Trump's a rocket scientist either. I think Trump versus Biden is hilarious because neither of them can form complete sentences. And I think Trump versus Bernie is hilarious is because both of them will just talk so much shit. Trump will call him a commie, and it's going to be in some top tier political circus. So anyways, the long and short of it is, let's see what the fuck happens. Let's play this level to level because we don't know. But I'm starting to scale into this exact trade here that I've posted. So do with that information what you will. I think this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to end it here. I'll do another video potentially Thursday. Pencil me in for Thursday for another video where I will cover Ethereum and maybe some other altcoins. I can already tell this video is probably as long as the last one because I do not know how to be concise. I'm sorry, but I did my best to not rant and bitch, and hopefully this was informative for you guys. If it is, give it a like. Leave some comments on shit you'd want to see. I am going to be doing a few more of those podcasts. I'm not trying to take Crypto Charles's place or any of those other podcasts' place. I'm not a podcaster, but my video with Zoran Kohli got really strong reviews. People seem to really like it. So it is also nice for me to have another person to talk to because it's just not me talking the entire fucking time. So I'm going to be doing another one of those for sure. A couple people that I've been already talking to about doing them with. One is Bit Dealer, homie of mine. He was in my Discord for a while, and now he's killing it doing his market science thing. Super dope. Very nice guy. Very solid trader. Takes the market science things. He let me check it out. It's super dope. I mean, it's not something I thought I would find any value in as a price action guy. But there's actually some very useful data and information in there that, was quick and easy for me, key level, shit like that. But for someone who likes data and that kind of stuff, definitely value there. I think it's absolutely worth the price. I've also been talking to Loma, so the altcoin god. So we'll be getting him on here as well. And anyone else you guys would like to see, I could reach out to, whether it's a Cred or a Donalt or a Loomdart or whoever the fuck. I might be able to try and convince them here or bribe them into letting me yell at them over the internet for 30 to 40 minutes. So signing off here on this one, guys. I'll upload this as soon as I can to YouTube. If you got any questions, let me know. Follow me on Twitter. Ask me any questions you have. Follow me on Tradingview. Hit me up on Discord. I'm having a great year trading, and I feel really good about it. And I'm glad I've been able to share some of these trades with you guys. I've got nothing but kind messages from you guys. And I absolutely love it. In my Discord is popping right now. The winners channel. The greatest things in trading are getting a trade right and making a bunch of money. The second greatest thing for me in trading is sharing trades with you guys and seeing you guys make fucking money. Absolutely crushing it. This is just the last 2 days, right? 8R trade, 11.9R. 50R, I mean, that's nuts. I'm not putting a stop there. 14R crushing it, right? 4R crushing it. You know, these guys are slaying. This is just the last couple of days. This is just since Sunday. We're making bank in here. This gets me almost. I mean, obviously, me making my own money is the best. But this gets me very hyped. And the best part is it's not signals, right? I'm obviously posting trades, but it's these guys are learning and executing on their own and taking their own trades and making money, and it's just awesome to see, and it makes me so fucking happy. And same with on Twitter, I post trades, people are getting in them, people are learning from my shit. That makes me super fucking happy too. So I'm having a great year, and I'm so glad that I'm able to share it with you guys. I really do enjoy doing this and sharing and just interacting with you guys. It's been an awesome 2020 so far, and I have no plans on stopping. So let's continue to get this money, and yeah, hope you enjoy the video, and I will talk to you soon.